From the leading man having a massive feud with Yellowstone's showrunner, to the star possibly needing to take some time off because of his messy divorce. These are all the reasons why Kevin Costner really left Yellowstone.
When the horse bounces up, let it stand you in the stirrups. When it comes down, sit back in the saddle.
For starters, he's got some bad blood with the showrunner. It's one thing if you have an issue with another cast member, you can just rewrite scenes to not have the two together. But having a problem with the showrunner is a whole other thing. It seems that Kevin and Taylor Sheridan, Yellowstone's showrunner, have been at odds for a very long time. It seems that recently, problems have gotten so bad that they felt it wasn't worth working together anymore. While the reasoning behind this is still based on rumors, the initial reports claimed that it had to do with Kevin not showing up to shoot on time.
I don't belong to you.
I don't belong to you either. I belong to the people now.
The star was working on other projects, like his Horizon movie. Because of this, Yellowstone is being delayed more and more. Reports also claimed that Taylor wasn't a fan of the effect that Costner's lack of dedication to Yellowstone was having on the rest of the cast and crew members, which is why he felt like letting the star go was the best option. But it seems that this may not be the entire truth.
Cattle don't know the difference between your land and ours.
Neither did we till the government showed us. Now I guess we're showing you.
Kevin's lawyer, Marty Singer, had something completely different to say. Turns out, the initial reports of Kevin insinuating he didn't want to work on Yellowstone anymore may not have as much weight as people thought. Marty said that Kevin was still dedicated to the show and has done a lot to ensure the series' success. There is no denying that. And he's probably the first person people think about when they think about Yellowstone. Fans have been wondering, if Kevin didn't have an issue with the show itself, just where does all this drama stem from? Was it just as simple as the star being overbooked? Well, that's when another rumor dropped and shed some light. It turns out that Kevin isn't the only one to blame for his scheduling problems. The star planned on wrapping up Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 last year. That's when the shooting for the series was initially planned to take place. Costner's schedule would have been clear in 2023, allowing him to dedicate time to the filming of his film, Horizon. But due to issues with the production and the writers not being able to create a script on time, this meant that the shooting of the 5th season's second part had to be delayed to 2023. This caused Costner's entire schedule to become all messed up. He already had prior commitments by this point and had to put Yellowstone on the back burner. This didn't sit well with Taylor, since he must have felt like the star wasn't being respectful of the showrunner's time. Though Taylor himself may be guilty of this. A new rumor suggests that Sheridan has had his hands full, with all those spin-offs of Yellowstone that keep getting announced. We're at a point where we're starting to see spin-offs for spin-offs. This means that Sheridan has struggled to manage the main series properly, which has led to some rampant issues on set. For example, stars would reportedly show up for filming with no actual work being done for hours. The production crew needed time to set things up because nothing was done by the time the actors showed up. This wasted just about everyone's time, but I feel Kevin probably felt the most angry. He has to take time out of his busy schedule to film Yellowstone, so the least the crew could do was make sure the basic stuff needed to get the shoot done was there. Because of this, many people have also pointed fingers at Taylor, saying that his lack of planning and mismanagement are to blame for Costner leaving the show. It seems that there's another big reason that might have caused Kevin to quit. This is because he's not given enough respect from people high up in the production. The star reportedly said that some people on the production side have god complexes. They seem to think their opinion is the only one that matters. I don't know about you, but to me it sounds like he's talking about Taylor here. After all, the showrunner is the one that Kevin has had the most beef with recently. There's also a report that Kevin seemingly wanted more creative control over the show. He may have wanted to change a scene or two, but instead of Taylor listening to what the star had to say, he told Costner to just stick to acting. That's no way to talk to an actor working on your show, especially not one as legendary as Kevin Costner. But there's another big problem here. Costner isn't just some actor in Yellowstone, he's an executive producer too. So he's well within his rights to suggest changes, as long as someone on the production is willing to listen. Taylor acting like the guy was talking out of turn, just for suggesting some changes. Just seems wrong if you ask me. It's not surprising why this star chose to leave if this is the kind of treatment he had to endure while on set. And guess what? He may be gone for good. By that I mean the star may not return to shoot the final episodes Yellowstone has left. The star doesn't want the writers to get some weird revenge by writing him out in a way that feels like a disservice to John Dutton. It's unknown if they'd be petty enough to do something like this. But if Kevin's worried to the point of not returning, there's probably a good reason why. This obviously means that the ending will come across as pretty rushed and terrible if John Dutton isn't present. Hopefully, they're able to work out their differences and come up with an ending that makes sense. It's the least the fans could get, especially after the series was forced to end so quickly. That said, there's another reason why Costner may have decided to pack up his bags. It's that he's got quite a lot of other projects he wants to work on. It just makes sense for him to move on to something that he actually likes dedicating his time to, instead of forcing himself to make more Yellowstone seasons. There's already the Horizon film I touched on earlier, but it turns out the star is also involved in other projects. Costner is going to appear in a docuseries as both a host and an executive producer. Apparently, this documentary is going to showcase the rich history of the Wild West, and Kevin seems very excited to be a part of it. The star mentioned that the stories of that time are worth talking about, even if they may not exactly feel appropriate nowadays. It's great to see him get a lot of creative control on a series like this, because it makes it clear why he left Yellowstone. I guess no one likes to work on a show when their creative ideas aren't respected by those in charge. Sheridan may be a genius. He's made all these spin-offs after all, but he needs to learn to listen to the rest of his crew too, especially when they have good ideas. That said, Kevin's reason for leaving Yellowstone may not have to do with his professional life at all. Instead, there's something he's been dealing with in his personal life that may have been the deciding factor. Recently, the star's wife announced that the two were getting divorced. This came as a shock to a lot of fans, especially because it was revealed at a time when everyone was wondering if the star would exit the series. It's possible that he may have been considering it before, but this was the final nail in the coffin. While the reason behind the couple's divorce wasn't revealed, someone representing the star did describe it as a very sad thing for Kevin. It looks like the two just have too many differences, and splitting up felt like the only thing they could do. They've been dealing with some issues in their personal lives recently, with their house being flooded last year. It's possible that Kevin may have wanted to take some time off work so that he can deal with the divorce properly.